because we did save the best for last. I didn't know. Look, Chiefs are the reigning defending Super Bowl champion. You get your just desserts when you have that title.
Mm-hmm.
Eagles, we got the Super Bowl matchup. Eagles felt like maybe the right side for a lot of that game until that Jalen Hurts one fumble and second half didn't go their way. Chiefs covered the number last year in the Super Bowl. So there is that revenge spot now for Philadelphia. This game will be in Kansas City. It opened KC 3. And what's interesting to me with both teams on their bye, it did drop under that key number, down to 2.5. Big total of 52 has dropped like a rocket down to 48. And the Chiefs, they feel like a carbon copy of last year's team. Maybe just better defensively, ironically.
Yes.
In that, where are the playmakers outside of Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes, right? Like, you look at the wide receiving core, who scares you? But here we sit over in the second half of the year, and they're still the team to beat in the AFC, and the Eagles are still the team to beat in the NFC.
These are two teams that are obviously both very good with their records, and I'm sure a lot of the conventional power ratings would rank them like 1, 2. I don't know if they are, because I think both these teams are good, and they're clearly contenders to reach the Super Bowl again. But I feel like they're both a little bit overrated.
I agree.
And this is just watching them. This Kansas City offense, have they really been great?
No, their last win over in Germany, they scored 21 points. One of those was a defensive touchdown. Like, people forget, they just look at, and they really got shut down in the second half against that Dolphins defense. So, like, I look at those things too, like you do. And with the Eagles, were they better than the Cowboys in their last game out? No, but they got the win and they covered the number of 3 by winning by 5. So they're covering numbers, they're winning games. But I'm with you. It's not smoke and mirrors. It's just not dominant 1 and 2s in the league, I think is what we're trying to say.
Yeah, exactly. If you look at the Kansas City offense, the last 2 games, they haven't eclipsed 300 yards against Miami, and then, of course, the loss at Denver. Now, they had high 400s against the Chargers, but we know that defense got some issues based on what we saw today against Detroit. And then even against Denver on that Thursday night game where they won by 11, 19-8. Yeah, they had close to 400 yards, but still, there was something missing. Against Minnesota, they scored 27, but they were in like the mid-300s. The second half against the Jets, they started out house of fire, and then it was all Jets in the second half. So, yeah, there's been something a little off-kilter with this Kansas City team, but I would say the same thing for Philadelphia, who I think has been getting kind of lucky in a lot of these games. If you look, DVOA, you could put whatever stock or whatever, how much, how little. The Eagles, I think, were rated 10th in DVOA. That meant they're rated behind Baltimore, Kansas City, San Francisco, Detroit, Buffalo, Jacksonville, Miami, Cleveland, and Dallas coming into this week. We'll see how those adjust at the conclusion of Week 10, which will be Tuesday morning. Eagles 21st on defense. And that's concern to me. So, Mahomes laying less than a field goal or as an underdog, how can I not take him? And look, I'm kind of looking to fade Kansas City at the right point. And I know the market's going to want to come in on Philadelphia here because it's the Super Bowl revenge angle. So that's what's going to maybe keep this at 3 or less. I don't think that this is all of a sudden going to get to like 3.5 or 4 because you'll have people just on numbers. Hey, I'll buy on Philadelphia here. I'm getting an 8-1 team with that number, but I kind of lean Chiefs here, and I might lay Chiefs money line.
I'm
is
with
actually
you.
The way I would go, and I'm willing to lay cheap money lines. I know people are afraid of the juice. Oh, why do you lay money lines? They're such a bankroll burner. It's like, number one, if you play a high volume of plays like I do in games, then you're not worried about it. And look, money lines. Look, the money line at DraftKings right now is minus 130 on the Chiefs. That's about as cheap as you're going to get on this team.
Yeah, that's as good a value as you're going to get instead of laying the $1.10.
That's what I did last year in the Super Bowl. I laid money line.
Yeah, that's a really smart way to go there. I don't want to say surprised. Obviously, I think we got a number that was open too high to get this rapid a movement down to 48.
Right.
Scoring felt like it was back up a little bit this week. Maybe not across the board, but in some games we got some really high-scoring games.
Yeah, I don't think you can bet the under here with the movement now. You want to, make sure the injuries and, how is Travis Kelce going to come back to his sojourn and his vacation in Argentina?
I mean, look, all I want to say about that very quickly is it's not a problem until it's a problem. And I'm not saying it's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
But you remember the Giants when they did their boat tour?
Yes.
Right before their playoff loss to
Yes.
the Packers, right? And the picture there. Like, this is Tony Romo. Remember, that's my quarterback. When he went to, Cancun with Jessica Simpson back in the day before a playoff game. Like, this Taylor Swift thing, which is not really a thing until it becomes a thing. And now you've got your star tight end who really is their only big playmaker on offense.
Well, she did at Buenos Aires Estadio River Plate this weekend, where she sold out yet another stadium. She sang and she changed the lyrics to her song Karma. Karma is the guy on the Chiefs coming straight home to me.
And then I saw she gave him a big old smooch for everybody to see. So, like, it's fun. We like to talk about it because it's good fodder for people on TV and doing what we do. But at some point, I wonder, will it actually become a distraction?
Now, here's the thing. Is she going to be in attendance? Because when she's in attendance, he plays better.
See, listen to what we're talking about.
This is the game. This is the game behind the game.
This is what we have to talk about now.
This is what you and I do on this program, the look ahead, man. You got to dig beneath the surface, man. You got to go for every. You got to.
This number goes to 3.
Every possible angle. No stone unturned, no village unpillaged. That's what you have to do if you want to win.
I think, Wes, what we have just decided is that Taylor Swift, I cannot believe this, Taylor Swift might be worth a half point.
She's worth a hook? I think she's worth a hook.
Taylor Swift is worth a hook.
Yes.
This is where we're at, people. And this is real. If it becomes known that she's going to be at the game because of what you just said, Wes Reynolds, that the numbers verify that he plays better when she's in attendance.
Now you know what I'm going to have to do, though.
Shnikes.
I have to check Taylor Swift's tour dates.
Oh, my
I believe she is on the South American tour right now on the Eras tour. So
get your butt to Kansas City, young lady, if you want to back the Chiefs.
Yeah,
that's where we are, the gambling community.
You're like, man, who cares now? You know, leave your fans that have paid all these dollars. You got a football game.
We need Travis Kelce for player props. I mean, this is insane that he plays better when she's there.
Well, and by the way, I did just check the tour dates because I provide the service for our viewers and our listeners out there. This game, of course, on Monday, November 20th. Can she make that flight back from Rio de Janeiro? Because she has a show in Rio next Sunday night.
So she's going to have to get from Rio to KC.
Yes. And then go back to Sao Paulo for the following weekend shows over Thanksgiving weekend.
Private jet, no problem for
Yeah,
Swifty.
she can get anywhere.
No problem.
She can get anywhere, man.
So we're going to expect this number potentially to move if we get verification that Taylor Swift will be in attendance. This is where we are, America.
It's where we are.
It's a real thing because we saw it today with like, all kidding aside, they're force-feeding the ball to Christian McCaffrey to try to get a record, right? when Travis Kelce knows that girlfriend's in the stands.
You got to show out in front of your lady.
You push the ball to 87.
Yes.
That's exactly what you do. This is insanity, but this is where we are. Very quickly, I wanted to ask you this too. The Chiefs are the betting favorite right now to represent the AFC in the Super Bowl again. That number right now is plus 225. There is a bit of a chasm until you get to the Ravens at plus 475, which I really think, boy, they had the inside track. Had they just held on today, they didn't do it. And then you get to the Dolphins at 5-1, and then the Bengals at 8-1. Is this Kansas City or bust, or do you think some of these other numbers are playable?
Yeah, too early to say that probably, but Ravens. We'll see if that drifts up a little bit more. Bengals, certainly that was a tough loss to take at home, but
a lot of these teams just took it on the chin today, though.
Yeah.
Like the Jags.
Yeah,
and the
so
Bengals
that's why you're seeing
Ravens.
the Chiefs price get compressed or decompressed here.
All right, so again, we'll have to keep an eye on Taylor Swift. Where is she going to be again?
She is going to be in Buenos Aires at this time when we're doing this program, and then maybe hightailing it on the private jet to Kansas
for
City.
Monday Night Football next week in
Yes.
Kansas City.
Go to VSiN.com/subscribe to become a VSiN Pro subscriber today.